So, in the last episode, we saw that our Hiragu made a new village where Minotaurs and Growlworlds can stay. But he made a mistake there. Actually, the house he built was quite small according to their size. So now there's a new challenge in front of him, and that is to build a proper house again. So that these people can stay comfortably, including the Minotaurs and others. And for this, they've set up a meeting. Now, at the beginning of this episode, we see Hiragu has called all the leaders of the different races to this meeting. Among them, one leader is from the Minotaurs and the other is from the Growlworlds. They're all talking, and Hiragu is trying to speak to them in a formal way. But the Growlworld leader is talking to Hiragu with a lot of respect and politeness. Hiragu says, "Look, don't be so formal with me. You can talk comfortably." But even then, she continues to speak very respectfully and politely. Hiragu doesn't understand what's going on and wonders why she's giving him so much respect. Then Hiragu says, "Look, I've called you all here so we can talk about how you're going to settle here, how you'll live and where you'll stay." The Growlworld leader agrees and says they'll follow whatever Hiragu says. It's clear she's ready to follow him completely. Hiragu then tells her to relax a bit. He says he'll introduce 3 people who will help guide the different races, since this place is new for them. First, he introduces Narf, who will stay with the Minotaurs and guide them on what to do and how to manage things. Then he introduces Lael Tyasai, who will live with the Growlworlds and help guide their group as well. And then we see our uncle, and she is going to live with the wood spirits. That means she's going to teach them everything, what to do and where to live. Since there's no proper place for them yet, they agree. So now everything is done up to this point, and they ask what the next plan is. Then it's decided that they're going to build 2 new villages. They'll go to another area and build Village 2 and Village 3 so everyone can live there comfortably. They mark the locations for both villages, and finally they reach inside the woods. Here we see Hiragu along with 2 elves, and they say that first, they need to build roads and an irrigation channel so water can be accessed easily and the villages can be connected. Hiragu then says that if he has to do all the work alone, it will take too long. Then he looks at the last man and another girl, who suddenly transform into their dragon forms. Hiragu tells them to calm down, saying, "What are you doing? I don't want to destroy the whole forest. We just need to build a road to connect the villages. Also, your direction is wrong, we need to move this way." Then both the girls look at each other, like they're competing to see who can clear the path faster. The man steps in and tells them to calm down, saying they'll end up destroying the entire forest. To calm them, Hiragu suddenly starts dancing. They get confused and ask why he's dancing there. Then the scene shifts, and we see Hiragu talking to the other races. He's clearly explaining the layout, where the river will flow, where the road will go, and where their houses will be. Everyone is working hard to build the river channel, and we also see both the girls doing their own kind of aura farming. Then the scene shifts again, and the house is finally built. Here we see the giant's home, and someone inside the house says, "Their tables and chairs are really big. I mean, they're so big that you can't even tell at first that they're chairs and tables, they're really huge. But anyway, I'm really happy that you'll be able to live in this house comfortably, because it's made according to your size." At that time, the Minotaur leader says, "Yes, absolutely, and thank you very much for this." Then the scene shifts. Here we see Raku's wife standing with her child. Suddenly, Anne enters and says that she has brought something for her. She has brought clothes. They start looking at the clothes, and Raku's wife feels really happy seeing them. They continue talking there. Then the scene shifts again, and we are shown Raku, who is now with Growled. He says to her that they've made a normal house for her, something a bit simple and stable so she won't have any trouble moving in and out. He asks what she thinks about it. Growled says it's very good and that she really likes it. Raku replies, "Oh, that's great. And yes, what about the door? What are you planning to use?" She says that if they install a normal door, it causes problems because it keeps breaking from opening and closing again and again. So instead, they're going to use a curtain so it's easier to go in and out. Raku says, "Oh, that's pretty good. I hadn't thought about that." Then the scene shifts again, and we see Raku's wife worried about her child, who is crying. And says, "Give me the child, I'll calm him down." She asks how she'll do that, and then just says, "Wait." And she actually manages to calm the child. Seeing this, Raku's wife is shocked, wondering how she did it because the child usually doesn't stop crying. And just says it's a secret and tells her to relax. After a few days, we see Raku again, and he says that the village is finally ready. But there's still one problem: they haven't named the villages yet. They're still calling them Village 1, Village 2, and Village 3. Now we see Ria, Tia, and Chrome together, and they're all talking about it. Chrome mentions that they still haven't decided on any names. She's busy explaining the map. They say, "Yes, that's fine, but we need to think about naming the villages." Then they suggest, "Let's do one thing, we'll name the 3 villages after their mayors. For example, the mayor of the first village is Hiraku, so we'll name the first village after him." Hiraku says, "Oh, that's enough, man. You're overthinking it. For now, I think we should avoid calling them Village 1, Village 2, and Village 3. They reply, "Yes, you're right about that too." While they're talking, a wood spirit enters and says, "That's fine, but what about us? You've given everyone a home, but we're still homeless." Hiraku replies, "Okay, tell me one thing, you guys don't really live inside houses anyway. So I'm thinking of giving you an important place where you can keep an eye on everything and inform us. Since you can communicate through telepathy, if I place you in a good spot across the area, you'll be able to alert us quickly if there's any danger, and we can prepare in time." The wood spirit says, "Yes, that's a great idea." So they all agree on that. Then the scene shifts, and we see them talking about monsters that might cause trouble. One of them says, "Wait a minute, the Minotaurs are known for hunting. They're strong and can handle it easily." Then he explains that not everyone can fight or defend themselves, so they'll have to divide the work into 2 parts, some people will focus on farming, and others will handle fighting. Tia then says, "Yes, and for that, I think we need to strengthen our defenses. We'll need help from the Jaitans and the Kutas." He replies, "That's a great idea. Why don't we use them for this?" And they agree to it. Finally, the scene shifts to the last part, where farming has already started. But in the other villages, the seeds they planted aren't growing. Seeing this, Hiraku gets worried and asks, "Why is this happening? They haven't even sprouted yet. But it's not growing. Maybe the seeds I used earlier weren't suitable for the current weather. I mean, if I talk about myself, I used some exceptional things before, because of which the plants grew very fast and produced a lot of crops. But it's not the same for you guys. Hiraku has the power of the almighty farming tool, and he uses that for farming. Then he says, "Look, that power is only with me, so you guys can't use it. We'll have to think of something else." That's when the Minotaur leader says, "Let's do one thing. I think we should grow wheat here, since it's going to get cold. Wheat grows better in those conditions, and it's usually harvested in summer. I have some knowledge about crops." Everyone feels happy hearing this and agrees, saying that if he has knowledge, they should follow it. So finally, they decide to grow wheat and start planting it. In the next scene, we see 2 statues. It's said that one is of the god of agriculture and the other is of the god of creation. They decide to build a shrine for them. The Minotaurs say it's a very good idea, and they agree to do it. Then in the next scene, we see Hiraku explaining that the Gruul team is doing a really good job. Their main role now is to transport goods from one village to another. They can carry things very quickly because half of their body is like a horse and the other half is human. After that, the scene shifts, and we see Gruul going to meet Hiraku. Hiraku tells her, you know, I have a horse, and I want to ride it, but it doesn't let me. She says, that's fine. You can ride me. I'm also like a horse. And she actually lets Hiraku ride on her. Then we see Hiraku's horse, who clearly doesn't like this at all. His owner is riding someone else, and he can't tolerate it. The next day, we see the horse already prepared and ready for Hiraku to ride him. Hiraku gets on, and they go for a ride. After that, things get chaotic between the horse and Gruld. Both of them insist that Hiraku should ride them. One says, ride me, and the other says, no, ride me. Hiraku then says, wait a minute. Alright, you guys need to calm down a bit and keep things friendly. And then he starts dancing again. They ask, everything is fine, but why are you dancing? Hiraku then says, let's do one thing. I'll ride both of you one by one each day. If I ride one today, I'll ride the other tomorrow. And finally, the matter gets settled. They agree, saying that this solution is fair. Then the scene shifts. We see Hiraku again, and he says that he just wants everyone who has settled here to take care of each other and support one another so the village can grow properly. We see Rue standing next to her husband, and she says, yes, it will be exactly like that, so don't worry so much. He agrees, saying that's how it should be. They continue talking. Then she hands her child to Hiraku and says, you take care of the baby for now, I'm going over there. Hiraku starts playing with the child. The scene shifts to the next day in the village. Everyone is gathered in one place, and there's a big celebration going on. But Hiraku is worried about something. He notices that the number of females is much higher compared to the number of males. Now he's concerned about how to balance this situation so the village can grow properly. So Hiraku calls the Minotaur leader and asks about their numbers. He says, out of 72 of us, 28 are men, and the rest are women. Hiraku says, okay. The leader then asks, why? Are you planning to send us to war? Hiraku replies, no, nothing like that, and explains the situation. The leader responds, oh, but we don't usually marry outside our race, and our size is also quite different. Hiraku understands and realizes that won't work. Then he talks to Gruld. She is completely ready and says, I can stay with you my whole life. You can decide whatever you want, because I consider you my master. Hiraku immediately stops her and says, no, no, that's not what I meant. I'm talking about everyone, not just you. He realizes this won't work either and understands that he'll have to think of another solution. That's it for today, like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.